I used to run a small noodle shop where I offered free refills. At first, I only wanted to give a warm meal to the poor, but one day a woman arrived with 6 children and ordered a bowl of noodles. They ended up getting 18 refills, turning my shop into their private dining room. I tried to reason with her kindly, but she recorded a video and accused me of being an unscrupulous merchant. In addition, she incited netizens to cyberbully me. The next day, a group of thugs blocked my shop. They ordered a bowl of noodles and stayed all day. When I went to argue, they beat me to death. When I opened my eyes again, I had been reborn. I returned to the day that woman entered with her 6 children. This time I smiled and stepped forward to welcome her. Boss, a bowl of the cheapest noodles, the ones with clear broth. A woman in old faded clothes followed by 6 thin, ragged children, standing at the entrance with an arrogant attitude. The leader was named Yue Kingle. She had an account on a short video platform. She called herself Mom of 6 struggling in the city. Seeing her familiar face, I recalled the scene of my death in my previous life. She was the one who killed me in my past life. You're here, come in please, sit down children. My enthusiasm visibly surprised Yue Kingle. She had surely imagined 1,000 ways I would reject her, and then she would show her weakness to maximize traffic. The only thing she didn't expect was that I would welcome her with a smile. Boss, don't say that. I opened my business to serve. How could I drive customers away? I interrupted her directly and then quickly pushed several tables together to make a large one. In addition, I served them 7 cups of hot tea. The children must be hungry. Drink some hot water to warm your stomachs. The wariness in Yue Kingle's eyes gradually faded, replaced by greed. She surely thought I was a brainless, kind-hearted fool. She cleared her throat and began her usual act. Boss, we don't have much money. We only want a bowl of clear broth noodles, she said, while rummaging through her pocket for a long time, pulling out a handful of crumpled coins. Just 10 yuan. I smiled as I took the money. Sure, 1 bowl of clear broth noodles. Just a moment, please. I turned around and went into the kitchen. I didn't prepare the noodles immediately. In the back room, I adjusted the angle of the security camera, making sure it could clearly record Yue Kingle's table. Then I went to cook the noodles. Soon a steaming bowl of clear broth noodles was served. Here are the noodles, eat them while they're hot. Yue Kingle immediately grabbed the chopsticks under the eager eyes of the children. She wolfed down the whole bowl, licked her lips, and shouted as if it were the most natural thing, boss, refill. Without the slightest hesitation, I served her another bowl immediately. Soon came the second, the third, the fourth. As I kept up my quick and helpful smile, Yue Kingle's audacity grew. Her voice asking for refills also got louder. She even turned on her phone and started posing constantly. Seeing her actions, I couldn't help but smile sarcastically. She was truly calculating and despicable. She was probably hoping I would run out of patience, call her out, or kick her out. Then she could rightfully create a conflict, playing out the scene of being humiliated by an unscrupulous merchant. Too bad that with the experience from my previous life, this time I wouldn't give her that chance. Other customers in the shop also noticed the commotion and began to whisper. A regular old man couldn't help but say to me, boss, this. I smiled to indicate he shouldn't worry. I wanted Yue Kingle to act as she pleased. The harder she worked at her performance, the happier I would be. When it came to the 9th refill, Yue Kingle finally couldn't take it anymore. Seeing that I wasn't taking the bait, she decided to take the initiative. She cleared her throat, looking at her phone's camera, and said in a pitiful yet firm tone, my followers, look, the boss is such a good person. We've eaten so much and he hasn't complained once. He's not like those unscrupulous merchants you see on the internet. Poor people like us are very lucky to find someone so good. I knew she was setting the stage. First, she praised me to the skies so that if I later showed any discontent, that contrast would give her the maximum effect on her live stream and infuriate netizens even more. A killer move. She knows this game well. I smiled sarcastically on the inside, but kept an affable smile on my face. Ma'am, don't say that. I opened this shop so that everyone can have a hot meal. As long as my business is open, there will always be enough to fill your stomach, I said frankly, drawing a cheer from the nearby diners. A barely perceptible flash of irritation crossed Yue Kingle's face. What she wanted was for me to get angry. She didn't want me to gain a reputation here. Rolling her eyes, she devised another trick. Boss, you are very good, but noodles aren't very filling. Why don't you do us a complete favor and also add some minced meat for us? Clear noodles are Vegetarian but meat noodles cost 25 a bowl. It was a blatant abuse of trust. In my previous life it was. Precisely at this point that I said no, and then she started making a scene. This time I kept smiling and nodded. No. Problem, sister. Then I turned around and went into the kitchen. I took a large ladle of fragrant minced meat and poured it evenly over the cooked noodles. Here, have some so the children can grow strong. Yue Kingle was stunned. Completely baffled, the whole speech he had prepared got stuck in his throat. He didn't understand why. This boss was so foolish as to let himself be exploited at will. This boss really has the heart of a bodhisattva. Yes. These days, it's not easy to find someone so good. The diners around me were no longer looking at me with pity, but with admiration. Hearing the comments, Yue Kingle's face turned pale and green. What he wanted was traffic. For netizens to stone me with criticism, not to award me a banner of praise. Seeing that his plan wasn't working, he had no choice but to begrudgingly keep eating. The second bowl, second, third, until reaching the third bowl, the children were already so full that they had collapsed in their chairs, their faces turning green. Yue Kingle's belly was also round. He couldn't eat another bite, but his expression showed no joy at getting so many free noodles, because the performance he had planned today had failed. He shot me an angry glare as if I had killed his father, muttered a hasty thank you, and ran away with the 6 children. I watched him coldly, his back in full retreat, and rubbed my face from so much smiling. Do you think this is over, Yue Kingle? The real show has just begun. After Yue Kingle left, the shop quieted down. Before long, Uncle Liu walked over worriedly and said to me, "Boss, you lost a lot today. That family clearly came to take advantage of you. You can't indulge them like this." Uncle Liu: "Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. I saw off all the customers, closed the shop, and saved the security camera footage. I backed it up, but this alone isn't enough to bring down Yue Kingle or the company. Backing him, in my past life they were able to harass me to death when I was just an ordinary person. Their power was obvious. I need a more powerful weapon, a bomb that will plunge them into an abyss of no return." I opened Yue Kingle's short video account. Mother of 6 struggling in the city. The account had hundreds of videos. The content was almost always the same, her with her 6 children in various cheap apartments, eating the simplest meals accompanied by sad music and emotional text, and in the middle of the videos she placed ads and product links. It seemed the company had created a persona for her as a single mother abandoned by her husband, raising 6 children alone and struggling to survive. In the city, the comments were filled with things like, "Hang in there, sister, a mother's love is great." It made me cry, all full of sympathy and encouragement. How disgusting. With this victim persona, Yue Kingle had accumulated nearly 1 million followers. I smiled sarcastically. I opened the latest video posted half an hour ago. The content was exactly the scene of them eating in my shop, but cleverly edited. In the video, he and the children ate with delight. I was smiling and fulfilling all their requests. The background music was warm and touching. The title, "There is also warmth in the city." Met an angelic noodle shop boss, 10 yuan, and the 7 of us, mother and children, 8 hour. Feel so grateful. Below this video, my shop's address was highlighted. The comments were filled with nothing but praise. "The boss is so good and kind-hearted. We must go support him. I've saved the address. Tomorrow I'm going to check in. Good people deserve to be rewarded. This is positive energy. Thumbs up for the boss." The move by Yue Kingle was lethal, truly cruel. By publishing the video like that, lots of people would surely come to my shop to check in. Once a crowd arrived, if my service wasn't perfect, or if, due to cost issues, I couldn't satisfy everyone's demand for unlimited noodles, a conflict would erupt. Then she would show up and accuse me of having abandoned my original intention or of being blinded by traffic. All the backlash would fall on me, and she would get even more exposure. It was truly a clever plan to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I looked at my phone. Just imagining his next steps made me tremble with rage. I had to fight back. I closed the video and dialed the police, but after thinking it over, I hung up. Calling the police is useless. He hasn't committed a crime. This is a moral matter. The police can't intervene either. Suddenly, an idea occurred to me. Since the law cannot punish this kind of person, why not use magic to beat magic? The next day, Yue Kingle's video indeed went viral. Overnight, my small noodle shop became a trendy hotspot for influencers. At 8:00 a.m., I had barely rolled up the metal shutter when a dense, dark crowd had already gathered in front of the entrance. Phones with long and short lenses were practically shoved in my face. Are you the boss, the divine boss who feeds people for 10 yuan? We saw Mother of Six's video and came. Especially for this, boss, you're a good person. Boss, make us a bowl of noodles too, Yangchun noodles. We all want to see if we can really get unlimited refills. The crowd was rowdy, some had come to genuinely support me. Others just to watch the spectacle, but most of them, with greed and calculation gleaming in their eyes, held up there. Phones live streaming with more or less the same titles. I was already mentally prepared and kept the same smile on my face as yesterday. Welcome, don't rush, please come in one by one, we have seats inside. I assure you everyone can eat and leave satisfied. I shouted loudly to maintain order and soon the shop packed with people. Boss, more noodles, boss, hurry up, boss, I've been waiting for 5 minutes already. The rush demands kept coming one after another. I was just running back and forth between the kitchen and the dining area, my back soaked in sweat. I felt like my arms were going to break. A young, red-haired streamer broadcasting on his phone yelled at the top of his lungs. Guys, we've already had 10 refills, the boss can't keep up, can't he take it? His companion next to him immediately backed him up. Exactly, this boss is useless. Yesterday, that mom with her 6 kids had 30 refills and with just a few of us, he's already getting impatient. Brother, I'm sorry, there are too many people today. I kept you waiting, here are your noodles. I approached carrying the bowl. Still smiling, I placed a large bowl of noodles in front of him. He was stunned. As if he didn't expect it. Not only did I not get angry, but I was also so polite. He could only pick up his chopsticks. Embarrassed, amid the scolding from fans on his livestream, the host can't even eat. Don't waste food. He was forced to stuff the noodles into his mouth. Throughout the day, I served over 300 customers and served over 1,000 bowls of noodles. At 10 p.m., after seeing off the last customer, I collapsed onto chair, feeling like my body was completely drained. Today's income after deducting costs showed a loss of nearly 8,000. Uncle Liu arrived again before closing. He didn't come to eat noodles but to help. If this keeps up, your shop will go bankrupt. I shook my head, pulled an envelope from the drawer and handed it to him. This is the money I've earned lately. Please do me a favor, tomorrow at dawn take this to Chen 11 orphanage. Donate it in my name, there should be tens of thousands here. Didn't you lose money today and yet you live like this? Hearing Uncle Liu's words, I smiled. Yue Kingle and that bunch of streamers wouldn't even dream that everything I do next will plunge them into a bottomless abyss. It doesn't matter, Uncle Liu. What I want to do is give back to society. No matter how they bully me, I can't forget my original intention. Uncle Liu looked at me with a complex expression that eventually turned into a long sigh. He carefully put away the envelope. After seeing Uncle Liu off, I closed the shop door, took out my computer, and began editing the surveillance footage from the entire day. The faces of those streamers, the greed of those freeloaders, my figure running back and forth. And finally, the moment I handed a wad of cash to Uncle Liu, asking him to donate it along with what I said, I edited all of it together. After finishing the video, I opened another short video platform and found a blogger with millions of followers, famous for exposing frauds and debunking scandals. Mr. Dayak, I'm sending you my story and all the video evidence. I saw his angry condemnation and his promise to speak up for me tomorrow, and then I fell asleep at the table. The next day, I opened the shop as usual. The entrance was still crowded. With yesterday's experience, I prepared 3 times more ingredients in advance and even hired 2 part-time ladies to help. In the face of the crowd, I handled things with ease. No matter how ridiculous the customers' requests were, for example, asking for fewer noodles, I served them with a smile and attentive service. Those streamers who came looking for trouble, faced with my flawless service, couldn't find any room for criticism. They could only eat their noodles dejectedly and leave with their tails between their legs. At 2 p.m., Yue Kingle arrived again. This time she wasn't alone. Behind her were several men carrying cameras. By the look of it, they were sent by BBA Pictures. Her studio was behind her. Today she wore elaborate makeup and decent clothes. Boss Zai, we might again. Wow, she came to put on an act again. Boss Zai, I came here today especially to thank you since my video went viral. Your business has improved too, right? Her voice was very loud. The whole restaurant heard her. Look, now the whole internet knows you're a good person and your restaurant has become a hotspot. Honestly, you should thank Me, her words had hidden motives, implying that I had taken advantage of her kindness. To promote myself, some curious customers began to whisper. I looked at her and laughed inside. Finally, Yue Kingle arrived. She realized she couldn't get traffic through normal means, so she changed her strategy to exploit others' sympathy. Just as I was thinking of how to respond, a powerful voice came from the entrance. Thank you for what? For taking people for fools and bringing a bunch of fake kids to scam free food. A middle-aged, heavyset man wearing a baseball cap walked in. He was holding a selfie stick and live streaming. Hello everyone, I am Mr. Moral, a fraud debunker. Today I'm going to expose a massive annual hoax, the dirty scam behind so-called sublime motherhood. Seeing Mr. Moral, Yue Kingle's face instantly turned pale. Don't talk nonsense here. Mr. Moral ignored her and pointed his phone directly at her. Yue Kingle, real name Han Kaifan, 32 years old, single and childless. These 6 children with you share no blood relation with you. Mr. Moral's voice was firm and powerful. They are all child actors rented by BBA. Pictures, for each appearance, each child receives a payment of 200 yuan. You take advantage of the compassion of the public, invent tragic stories, create a single mother persona and rake in money excessively. Do you dare deny it? Every word from Mr. Moral made Yue Kingle's face grow darker. The live stream room instantly erupted. What? The children are rented? My God, how disgusting. They are consuming our compassion. I knew it. What kind of mother uses her children like that? Yue Kingle went into a total panic. She pointed at Mr. Moral and shrieked hysterically, you're slandering me. This is defamation. My children are here. They are my own blood. She tried to grab a young child nearby, but the child dodged her in fear. That child was the same one who in the news of my past life had been abused for a long time, skinny as a skeleton. Mr. Moral let out a cold laugh and played a video. I didn't know they would use children to scam. Please return my child to me. The woman in the video was that child's biological mother. Don't take my child away. The lie of Yue Kingle was ruthlessly exposed. She collapsed to the floor, her face pale. Stop recording. You are violating my portrait rights. Turn off the broadcast right now or I will sue you. But the team behind her reacted quickly. Those men with the cameras immediately stepped forward, trying to snatch the phone from Mr. Moral. Mr. Moral, who had a robust build, pushed them away. I don't care if you sue me. I'm telling you, don't touch me or I'll call the police and say you assaulted me. The guy's expressions changed and they didn't dare approach. I'm telling you, don't touch me or I'll call the police and say you assaulted me. Those people's expressions changed and they didn't dare approach. Yue Kingle, seeing that all was lost, suddenly began to make a scene and roll on the floor. What did I do wrong? I just wanted to make money. I have struggled alone in the city. Is it easy for me? You are all evil. You have ganged up to bully a defenseless woman. I will sue you. I will ruin you. Her behavior was deplorable, like a madwoman. The customers in the shop and the online viewers, seeing her crude performance, felt nothing but infinite disgust. And the clips of this live stream were quickly edited by Mr. Dayok's editing team. Published and massively promoted, influencer bullies Noodle restaurant. The owner defends his stance. They quickly took the top spots on the trending charts. The tide of public opinion suddenly submerged Yue Kingle and her talent agency. Yue Kingle's public image completely collapsed. She went from being an admirable mother worthy of compassion to a shameless scammer whom everyone despises. Her account was blocked, her collaborations cancelled, and the entire internet criticized her mercilessly. I saw some videos recorded by passersby, where colleagues from her agency dragged her like a dead dog out of my restaurant. For the first time since my rebirth, I laughed with joy. Although Yue Kingle was finished, the company behind her was the biggest threat, because I clearly remembered that although the one who caused the cyber bullying was Yue Kingle, the ones who killed me were those thugs from Babia. Even if turned to ashes, I remember them saying messing with our star influencer is seeking death. Yue Kingle was only a pawn pushed to the front. The really terrifying one was Babia Films, the company behind her, which did not hesitate to use any means for viewership, even resorting to organized crime forces. Now, not only had I faced her influencer, but I had also destroyed her with my own hands. They would definitely not leave me in peace. The next 2 days passed in calm, not as I had imagined that the quick revenge of Babia Films would arrive. Yue Kingle and her agency seemed to have vanished from the face of the earth. My noodle restaurant also regained its former tranquility and even became more popular. Many citizens admired my conduct and came sincerely to eat noodles. After finishing a bowl, they voluntarily paid for a second one. No one mentioned the unlimited refills. Liu Dayan also brought a letter of thanks from the orphanage and a manuscript which they solemnly placed on the wall. Everything seemed to be going in the right direction, but the unease in my heart grew day by day. The calm before the storm is usually the most dangerous. I fell into a deep anxiety. That night, as usual, I closed the restaurant and was about to leave when suddenly an unexpected person appeared at the door. Mr. Dayak was not live streaming, he just walked in with a serious expression. Mr. Zai, can we talk? I poured him a glass of water. Mr. Dayak, what brings you here? He drank some water and said, I came to warn you to be careful. Are you referring to Yue Kingle and the agency behind her? Exactly, I investigated that company and it turned out to be more complex than I imagined. I found some things. They are not only dedicated to incubating influencers, but they are also involved in many gray industries, even illegal lending. And Yue Kingle was just a tool they used to rake in money. Now that this tool is useless, they have suffered heavy losses and will undoubtedly retaliate. Mr. Dayak's words confirmed my suspicions. He also paused, and his gaze turned more serious. I discovered that one of the shareholders of that company, nicknamed Brother Long, has a criminal record. He used to be a street thug and has a group of goons under his command. Hearing this, all the alarms in my mind went off. Could those thugs who killed me in my previous life have been his men? Mr. Dayak, seeing my pale face, continued. Today I came first to warn you and second to say goodbye. I plan to leave the city temporarily. To hide, they've already found my home. Last night someone splashed paint on my front door. My heart sank. Even an expose blogger with millions of followers was forced to flee. What could I do? A simple noodle shop owner. Despair washed over me like a tide. I clenched my fists tightly. Was I going to die at the hands of that same group again, even after being reborn? No, I would never give up. As I looked at Mr. Dayak, something suddenly occurred to me. Just now you said that they are involved in illegal fundraising. Yes, this is information I got from an informant, but there is no substantial proof. Hearing this, a plan quickly began to take shape in my mind. I needed a pretext, something that would allow the police to intervene legitimately. I looked at Mr. Dayak and said in a low voice, Mr. Dayak, I have an idea. Maybe we can catch them all, but this plan requires your cooperation and it's also very dangerous. Mr. Dayak looked at me with fire burning in his eyes, fell silent for a moment, and then nodded firmly. Boss Zai, tell me what to do. I've fought for so many years and I've never been afraid of anyone. My plan was very simple. I was going to use myself as bait. I asked Mr. Dayak to post a new video on his account with millions of followers, making deeper accusations against the agency behind Yue Kingle, especially highlighting their illegal fundraising and violent debt collection. I was sure that posting these videos would infuriate the agency. At the end of the video, Mr. Dayak would announce that he would host a live stream at the noodle shop this Friday at 8:00 p.m. to reveal key evidence. Of course, it was a lie. We didn't have any key evidence. The goal was to force the agency to act. For the agency, if Mr. Dayak released the evidence, they would be completely ruined. So they only had one choice before 8:00 p.m. on Friday to silence Mr. Dayak and me forever, and I had already contacted the police. Advance, I didn't say I would be attacked, but instead filed a report as a victim. I told the police that I had received threatening calls from the agency and that suspicious people were hovering in front of the shop. Combined with Mr. Dayak's video, I expressed grave concern for both our safety. I asked the police if they could send patrol cars to protect us on Friday night. The police accepted the report and said they would give it top priority. For the next 3 days, the restaurant continued to operate normally, but I could feel an invisible pressure in the air. There were always a few sneaky figures lingering outside the shop. I assumed they were spies sent by the agency. I pretended not to see them and continued to serve customers with a smile every day, cooking and serving noodles. On Friday at 7:00 p.m., I saw off the last customer and closed the shop early. Mr. Dayak arrived at the shop as agreed. Boss Zai, is everything ready? I nodded, pointing to several hidden cameras I had already installed in the back kitchen. Don't worry, Mr. Dayak, today we'll put on a good show. We sat in the shop waiting in silence as the minutes ticked away. At 7:50 p.m. we Heard chaotic footsteps in the alley outside the shop. They're here. We exchanged a glance, Mr. Dayak and I, with our hearts in our throats. The roller shutter door was kicked violently from the outside, making a loud metallic clanging sound. Open up, get out here right now. It was that familiar, fierce voice from my previous life. I didn't move. Seeing no response, they began to force the door open with a crowbar. The screech of metal in the quiet night sounded particularly shrill. Mr. Dayak's hands were already starting to tremble. But just then, at the other end of the alley, blinding police lights suddenly flashed, and sirens blared loudly. Don't move, police. A dozen officers rushed out and caught that group of thugs who were about to break down the door. Mr. Dayak, myself, and even those thugs were all stunned. I had originally planned to let the thugs trash my shop first and then call the police to catch them, but how were the police already here waiting? The thugs got even more frightened, dropping their tools to the ground and obediently squatting with their hands on their heads. An officer in charge approached the door of my shop and knocked. Hello, Boss Zai. We are from the criminal investigation team of the Municipal Police Department. We received a citizen's report that a violent criminal group was planning to commit a crime here. I opened the door with a confused expression. Officer, I didn't call the police. The officer in charge smiled. It wasn't you who called. This intervention was ordered by our superior. The superior, I don't know any superior. Uncle Liu in his pristine uniform walked out with his hands behind his back. Mr. Zai, it's been long time no see. I look at Mr. Liu dressed in his uniform with a distinguished bearing. My mind goes blank. For a moment, Mr. Liu, you, Mr. Zai, I'm sorry, I never told you that I am the chief of the law enforcement brigade. I freeze. Processing this huge amount of information, it turns out that the old man whom I gave broth and noodles to every day asking about his health turns out to be a low-profile administrative official. We've had our eyes on that company BGA Films for a long time. Its owner was a criminal in his early days. He got rich through illegal means. Then with the internet boom, he opened this company. It packages influencers, but deep down, he remains the same. He is dedicated to inducing young people into excessive spending and traps, ruining many lives. We've always wanted to take action against him, but the guy is very cunning. The key evidence of his crimes is well hidden and his accounts are impeccable. We lack breakthrough to convict him once and for all. I thought I wouldn't be able to bust this gang before I retired. Mr. Liu's gaze lands on me with a hint of approval. He leans down and pulls out the envelope. Perhaps good people get rewarded. Your good deed caused them to target you, and I just happened to run into it. So since the night you asked me to donate money, I started planning today's operation. Suddenly, I understand everything. It turns out I thought my plan with Mr. Dao was what attracted the police. In reality, we ourselves were part of the official plan. We were the bait to draw the snake out of its cave, and Mr. Liu and his colleagues were the hunters already in ambush. Don't worry. With these thugs as evidence this time, we will soon be able to tear apart the gray industry behind this entertainment agency. Well, I'm going to bring the bad guys to justice. You guys go back early and rest. Tomorrow when you wake up, check the news. The next day I turn on my phone. Overwhelming news. It confirms the words of Mr. Liu. The criminal gang lurking in the shadows of the city has been completely captured. The ringleader, Brother Long, and others have been arrested. The charges include illegal business operations, provoking trouble, among others. In the news footage, the 6 rescued children have already returned to their families. They have been properly resettled. I take a deep breath and open the shop door. It's still the same smoky and steamy environment, but today the air has the freshness of after a storm. The regular customers arrive. Little by little, street sweepers, workers from the nearby construction site, and some lonely elderly people. They don't ask anything, just order their food in silence. After eating, they smile knowingly. Boss, can I have a refill of broth? Sure, as long as you can eat, there's plenty. But the old man takes some money out of his pocket and carefully puts it in my hand. No, your kindness should not be taken for granted. Good people deserve a good reward. At sunset, the gentleman takes off his uniform and goes back to being that simple old man sitting in his usual spot.